Hi everyone, I'm Shannon Schroeder, F-Bomb coach, and today we're going to talk about why you lose motivation. Here's the hard truth. You don't lose motivation because you're lazy or you're broken. You lose motivation because your mind is trying to warn you about something. Today you're going to learn what your lack of motivation is really trying to tell you and how to use it as a signal instead of as a reason to beat yourself up. Does this sound a little too familiar? You tell yourself, I have no discipline. I always quit. You repeat that so often that you start to believe it's who you are. However, you are not your motivation level on a bad day. You have a cycle that you get stuck in of starting strong, and then you lose steam, and then you blame yourself and you call yourself names, and that nasty little voice in your head kicks in. So then you're like, no, I'm going to do better. So you start that cycle again and you start strong, and then you lose steam, and then the self-blame is back. Motivation is not a personality test. It's more like a notification on your phone. Low motivation is your brain saying, hey, something's off. You need to start rethinking what motivation means. If you feel flat every time you open your email, if you feel heavy every time you think about going to the gym, if you feel wired but stuck when you sit down to work on a dream project, your body, your brain is giving you signals that something's not quite right. In most cases, low motivation is your mind sending one of three messages. The task feels unsafe, the task feels pointless, or the task feels impossible. Once you know which one it is, you can respond in a way that is smarter rather than just forcing yourself to try and work through it. So I want you to pause for a second and think about the thing that you keep putting off. In your gut, does it feel unsafe, pointless, or impossible? That alone will start to give you some clarity. Let's talk about the first reason, something feeling unsafe. Unsafe doesn't only mean physical danger. It can mean social or emotional danger too. Some emotional, social things that feel unsafe, the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of success because it leads to higher expectations. Because of these things, you say things, you call yourself lazy when it comes to posting online, but your real fear is that people will laugh or that they'll ignore you, like your videos go nowhere, your post doesn't get any engagement. Your nervous system has one job, and that is to keep you alive and safe. So if a task feels like a threat, your brain hits the brakes. That's your body's way, your brain's way of protecting you. And the thing is this, is that your brain, your body, they don't distinguish between the difference between the fear of being laughed at and being chased by a tiger. Your brain views them the same way. It is a threat. So how does this show up? You feel tension in your chest before you start a task. You suddenly remember 100 other tasks that all of a sudden feel really urgent so that you can escape the one you should be doing. You stall until the very last minute and then you rush through getting something done in full panic mode. These are all signs that your brain is trying to protect you from a perceived threat. So how do we start making tasks feel safer? First, you can try shrinking the exposure. Instead of posting to the world, post to 5 friends in a private story before you send it out. Practice your presentation in front of a mirror or in front of one friend instead of the full room. You can add support. Use body doubling, accountability buddies, work next to a friend. It's easier for your brain when you're not alone. You could just tell someone, I'm trying this thing and I'm feeling nervous. Can you just check in with me later? And change the story. Instead of saying, if I fail, I'm a joke, try, if this flops, I learn what not to do next time. We talk a lot about using those failures as data points. It's just information so that you can learn how to do things differently. Reason number two, it feels pointless. You can push yourself for a while without a clear reason, but after some time, your brain taps out. If your only reason is, I should, or they expect me to, your motivation's gone. In this case, your low motivation is your mind saying, I don't see how this matters to our life, so I'm not going to burn energy on it. What does pointless look like? You sit there and your brain's like, what's the point of this assignment or this workout or this project? You drag your feet, you scroll more, and then you feel guilty. You need to ask yourself, what does this help me become or protect or create? You need to give your brain the why behind you, why you're doing these things. So the purpose here is to reconnect to purpose. I'm doing this because. Why should you study? It's not about the test. It's about having more options so you're not stuck later. When it comes to working out, it's not about having a six-pack abs. It's about being able to play with your kids or feel strong in your body. That boring admin work, that's about keeping the future you out of chaos. So before you start a task, say out loud, I'm doing this because, and then finish the sentence. It takes 5 seconds and it gives your brain a reason to get on board. For example, I'm doing invoices so that I can stay stress-free next month. Now your brain's like, oh, that makes sense. Let's do it. Reason number three, it feels impossible. You set a big goal and at first it feels exciting and that lasts maybe a day. Then your brain realizes that it doesn't have a clear plan, it doesn't have a clear path, it doesn't see the end, and it slams on the brakes. You don't lack ambition and you're not lazy. You lack a small, clear next step. In this case, low motivation is saying, I can't see a winnable move here. Give me something I can actually finish. What does impossible look like? You say things like, I want to get in shape, but that's too vague because what does that mean to get in shape? You say, I want to start a business, and then you stare at your screen because you don't know the first steps to start that business. You feel tired before you even start. Your brain loves clear wins. So what do you do to fix this? Make it winnable. Instead of get fit, use walk for 10 minutes after lunch. Instead of write a book, use write 100 words before bed. If your brain resists this step, cut it in half until there is no resistance. If go to the gym for an hour feels heavy, try put on work clothes and do workout clothes and do 5 minutes at home. You want to make the steps so small, they're not scary. So let's use a simple checklist for momentum. We want to build momentum with our motivation. The three wins rule. Write 3 small wins down on a sticky note, piece of paper, whatever. Not 30, not 15, just 3. Those are going to be your goal for the day. When you finish them, you check them off. And that's a little hit, that little hint of pride, that's fuel because your brain's like, ooh, this is good. I like this. Motivation comes from winning, not from wanting. You may want to do 30 things, but it's a win if you write down those 3 things and that's what you do. So give yourself winnable steps. What do you do when your motivation drops? From now on, when that happens, you don't ask, what is wrong with me? You need to start asking, what's my lack of motivation trying to tell me? Go back to those 3 things. Does it feel unsafe? Does it feel pointless? Does it feel impossible or too vague? Because once you're able to answer those questions, then you can start thinking about what steps you can take to bring that motivation back. If you're ready to stop fighting your motivation and start working with it, here's your next step. Pick one area of your life that you keep avoiding. Use the 3 questions from this video to figure out whether it feels unsafe, pointless, or impossible. Then change one tiny thing today, not next week, today. One thing, make it small, make it winnable. Thank you very much for being here. If you want more honest tools like this to build discipline without hating yourself, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. I post new videos that help you understand your mind so you can stop feeling stuck and start doing the things you actually care about. Thanks.